How are you all doing tonight? My name is Bigbobbedboi and welcome. It's time for B2 launch. I want to give you my personal hunter recommendations and advice so you can have the best time playing hunter just as Hunter Jesus intended. Let's look at leveling builds first. I think it's pretty obvious, but BM is still the best option for leveling. BM just has too many strong leveling talents. 5 in imp aspect of the hawk, 3 in armor, 2 in revive pet. Then this is where it gets a little bit interesting. If you're out in the world leveling, I do take pathfinding. We've got 15 levels of no mounts. We're going all over the goddamn place. 6% speed is noticeable, and you don't actually miss anything huge. It's just a little bit delayed. Then 1 in bestial swiftness, 2 in unleashed fury. After that, you can move into ferocity or finish unleashed fury. I'd go ferocity first, then intimidate, but you're going to finish both either way. 1 in bestial discipline, 5 in frenzy, then you're level 40 by the time you get bestial wrath. For runes, we'll obviously want BM on gloves and flanking strike for legs. Running in to finish mobs with a raptor flanking combo is well worth it. Chest though, that's a little bit flexible. I'll be running lion most of the time since that's the biggest pet buff, and I'm going to let him do most of the work. For boot runes, I would aim for invig. This should keep you going so that you can use all your abilities without ever having to stop or use Viper. For belt rune, so it does look like steady is the 60% version. That is weak. But if you have invig or Viper, it's not bad to run this. Personally, I would probably roll melee spec if I can get that one first. It's just so efficient. Raptor strike hits so hard. It's good for multi-target weaving, and you gotta move up to the mob to loot it anyway. You may as well raptor combo it. If you're going to be running flanking and melee spec, yeah, you can run dual wield if you want. However, I would only do that if you've already got Viper and are willing to weave Viper between combat, which apparently our Viper book is in SM. Someone said they were able to get it before they hotfixed that stuff back out, but I didn't personally confirm that. Anyway, that ends up like this. What if you're going to be dungeon grinding? If you're only doing dungeons with a good group, you're going to be doing mostly AoE. But unfortunately, rank 1 explosive trap is 34, so you could spec serve, then go trap launcher with explosive shot. That's going to be your best bet at that point. But until 34, it doesn't matter a whole lot. Until then, I'm just going to run BM with extra gloves for explosive shot. Alternative playstyles. Are there any good alternative playstyles? You know, I love alternative. Well, yeah, actually there are, and I'm going to talk about a few. So these are not optimal. BM is going to be the most optimal. But I know a lot of people just want to do something a bit different, so here's a few you can run that are pretty decent. Lone Wolf Marksman. Yeah, I'm serious. Lone Wolf is 30% now. If you have semi-decent gear, you can obliterate any mob from range before it has any chance of getting to you. I did some pre-questing with this earlier, and it was shockingly good. 5 in efficiency, 5 in lethal shots, 3 in Hawkeye, aimed shot, 1 in either amp mark or amp concussive shot. Doesn't really matter. And then you'll put another point in here later. 5 in mortal shots, scatter shot, 3 in barrage. That point in imp conk goes here, then TS aura. For runes you rune, well, Lone Wolf obviously, chimera shot, and actually I would go flanking strike on legs for leveling. Then run a two-hander, and if a mob does get close, which it never really should, you've got a flanking raptor combo ready to go to finish it. The new runes, actually they're not that impactful. I'd run expose, weakness, or steady on the belt, but you'll probably never need to run steady, so do expose if you get that one first. For boots, trap launcher, but again, this won't matter for grinding through mobs. But if you double pull or something, you can use this to put a trap down without burning FD. I was very surprised with how much fun this was. Its main weak point is mana, but that'll be solved by Viper, although I probably wouldn't run this if you have bad gear. What about leveling as just full-on melee? Yeah, that is also fine. However, I would recommend leveling just as BM melee with the melee runes, at least until you get Viper, dual wield spec, and melee spec. At that point, you can respec, serve, run Lone Wolf in full-on melee. You will need to bandage occasionally, and probably weave Viper. But this is simming extremely high to the point that it would be worth it to do it, especially if you can keep flanking stacks up while moving between mobs. I mean, you're just going to be obliterating these things. Although you don't have to run Carve, you shouldn't need to hit that while grinding through mobs leveling. If you want to use Chimera and hit that as you run in, that's just fine, as long as it's not going to cause you too many mana issues. Pets. Let's talk about some important pets to grab while leveling. Personally, I would stick with the classics, cat or boar. Boar for the easiest time out leveling. Cat because, well, you're going to keep it to 40 and use it. I'm personally just going to hold on to Ghost Cat and it'll be my main pet for this phase. Any unique pets open up? Well, Broken Tooth is 37. If you're not ever going to melee, it's not a terrible idea to pick him up. Araga is also available now, being a 35. It's my favorite cat by a lot, but I've used it so many times, I'm not going to grab her this time. I know a lot of people do get tired of using the same pets, just like doing the same spec. Cat, wolf, boar, and wind serpent are like 99.99% of the time what you use. And people are looking for something different. Well, if that's the case, this is probably the best time to use a bird. You can pick up Screech 2 at 32 from Assault Flats Vulture. They're not top tier pets, but they will be okay to level up with if you grab one around that level. Although you'll have to go to Arathi and tame a young Mesa Buzzard to learn Dive. And how about our main pet abilities? Well, rank 5 Bite. Plains Creeper in Arathi Highlands at level 32 is going to be your best option. For rank 6, there's Dry Wallow Dagger Mauls at level 39 in Dust Wallow, or Death Strike Tarantulas in Swamp of Sorrows. Claw rank 5, actually, I would probably skip this. It's virtually only from level 34 and level 35 Scorpashi Lashers in Desolus. Rank 6, you'll get at level 40. You can get that from Scorpid Hunters in Tanarus or Silt Crawlers in Swamp of Sorrows. So you can just get rank 6 Bite and Claw and Swamp of Sorrows in one nice trip. That's just going to be the most important one to get. You can get it at level 32 from Stranglethorn Tigers in STV, or Scarlet Tracking Hounds in SM at level 33 also have it. That's going to be a good one if you're farming SM. If STV is actually ST Vietnam on your server, maybe go for Bonepaw Hyenas in Desolus, they're level 33. You can get Prowl now, but it's not particularly important while leveling. I would just grab it at 40 from Ridge Stalker Patriarch in the Badlands. Alright, I'm going to mention a couple of pieces of gear to watch out for. This is not an exhaustive BIS list by any means, that will come later. First is, don't forget your WSG rep gear. You've probably already got rep, and a lot of that gear is scaled up to 38, the necklace and the ring being most important. Dark Hooded Cape. This is from Nymar the Slayer, rare spawn troll in Arathi Highlands, and it's only level 32. This might end up being P2 BIS for melee, and there's some on my AH right now for 150 gold. Might be one you can snipe cheap on your server. Bow of Searing Arrows. This probably isn't BIS. I've never had this bow, not in vanilla, classic, era, hardcore, never gotten it. A lot of people said the proc rate was insane, that this would definitely be BIS. However, in the last week or so, I've seen people test this on era and the proc rate was shit. It is a good bow, but it does look like the Nomer gun will be BIS, so I would not pay out the ass for this. Black Forge Greaves, level 40 male BOE, phenomenal stats on these for melee hunter. They'll also probably end up being BIS. Mithril Heavy Bore Rifle. This is more damage than the Epic Crossbow, and it's a gun like our BIS weapon, so you won't have to swap bags around, and it's crafted. Also, there's a random BOE green with similar stats. If it rolls something good like Agility, that's also not bad. And there are two very good BOE guns. The Silencer's Random World Drop, and Shadowforge Bushmaster is an Alderman BOE drop, but it's not quite as good as the Silencer. And that's mostly it for gear. As I said, not an exhaustive list, but honestly, pre-BIS at this phase is really boring. Partially because Nomer gear is so good, it makes most pre-BIS obsolete. I was going to do a separate pre-BIS and P1 BIS videos, but I'm just going to combine them at this point, and that should be out within the next week or so. But on the plus side, Trip Runner were updated, and they are nice. And don't forget to update your quivers to ammo pouches. The best ones we get this phase are the new PvP one, and until that there is a level 225 leatherworking one. Since we're swapping over to guns, I would recommend having a bunch of ammo and an ammo pouch in your mail ready to go for whenever you get one of these new guns. If you don't have the Expo, it could be pretty early. If you have that, well, it probably won't be till 39 or 40. But it's a good practice to keep a bunch of ammo and pet food in your mail anyway. And at this section, I was going to have some preliminary 40 builds for you, because there are 2 sims out there that people are working on now. I spent a bunch of time on them, like way too much. And my conclusion is they need more time, and I learned nothing from using them. What I'm going to do personally is, if I was able to pick up 2 really good one-handers and all the runes, I will melee for my first Nomer. If not, I'm going to BM for my first Nomer. And in the coming days, I'll get a video out going way more in-depth on the new builds, which I hope you like, because I'm sure you like this video. I'm going hard over here. We are so close to 20k subs. Actually, I've been saying that a long time now. So if you did enjoy it, hit that like button, subscribe button. I got lost looking for new runes button, all that other shit. I appreciate each and every one I get. Like, for real, I actually do. But that is going to be all for this one. I really appreciate you all watching, and we'll see you all for the next one.